Do I? No, I didn't make it.
I like that
saved it.
I like that you went over. You teased the bus stop. You went over to the bus stop. You're like, I'm gonna stop. No, I'm not. Like, I've had that happen. I've had that happen with like transit buses here in Victoria. Sometimes we're like waiting at the bus stop. You're like, I'm waiting. I'm ready for you to pick me up.
Yep.
You're coming by. You're slowing. Nope. You're not slowing down. You're going. You're just gonna go straight by.
Yeah. Making eye contact. I have my hand up, and it's like, oh, I see.
Screw you.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that's a weird. That happens more often than I would like in our transit systems. I did do a dangerous thing one time where in
jump out in front of the bus.
No, but in Edmonton, it was like 8 o'clock at night, 7 or 8 o'clock at night, something like that. It was just outside Westmount Center, which is a mall, and so the bus was there, and I needed to get on the bus that goes back to St. Albert because that's where I lived. That meant that it was like that's not a walkable thing to do in the middle of winter. It's minus 20 outside. I have my K-Mix on. It probably might have been colder because, of course, it has been dark for a while. And I don't care which way the bus is going. It's going downtown. I'm like, I don't care if it's going downtown to Edmonton or if it's going back up. I need to get on a St. Albert bus now so I can get home, whether it's in 45 minutes or an hour and 45 minutes.
Like, if it's going the wrong way, eventually it will turn around and come back the other way.
Correct. I will ride the loop. I don't care. And I've done that. And so, God, it's so frustrating because I ran up to get to the bus. I was running to the bus stop. And the guys are usually good. If they see you running in their rearview mirrors, they'll be like, okay, don't take off just yet. Wait like an extra 10 seconds. They'll catch up and jump on the bus and be good to go. And I'm just hauling it. And the guy just starts to pull away. And as he does, because I'm running like beside it on the sidewalk, I bang on the side of the bus because I'm not really thinking straight. I'm banging on the back panel of the bus, essentially, but on the side, right? To be like, bang, 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 to like, wait, don't go, that kind of idea. And he stops the bus, and I run up to beside the thing, open the doors, and thank goodness it was a bus driver I knew. Like, we knew each other first name basis, which is always a nice thing to have. And he was like, you shouldn't do that. And he was like, it was like, at least I got a guy who was like, who knew me. And he's like, that's not a good idea. I mean, I thought you might have slipped under the bus. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, it scared the hell out of me. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, yeah, don't run to catch the buses in the winter. Like, summer, fine, but don't run to catch a bus in winter. It's not worth it because you might have slid under the bus and I wouldn't have known what had happened. And I'm like, great. Yeah. I won't do that ever again. He's like, cool. Just go wait in the mall for another 40 minutes. I'll be back. I'm like, okay. He let me on and we did the whole ride anyway. So,
yeah. My favorite thing around here, buses in the winter, is that I don't know if it's because of how they have the buses set up or something, but sometimes and we don't get a lot of snow here, but sometimes we'll get the snow and the roads will be really slick, and you'll see around downtown especially there's some of the telephone poles will have tires around them.
Yes.
And you're like, that's weird. Why are there tires around that telephone pole? And then you find out because when they take the tires off, there's large dents in the wooden telephone pole because a double-decker bus, which is very heavy, has a lot of inertia. It will come up to a bus stop, the wheels will not be turning, and they're just slowly bonk into, like, there is literally nothing the bus driver could do to stop it.
Yeah.
It just slow. It's not even like not that fast, but it's just got a lot of thing where it just goes bonk into the telephone pole that's right beside the bus stop.
We have reached in Victoria. Everybody in Vancouver Island has, at least the lower Victoria Island, Vancouver Island. We have reached kind of a tense armistice with winter, where we're like, we won't put salt on the roads unless we really need to. We won't grade the streets because we don't have the equipment. And we'll just kind of suffer through when there's ice on the streets for maybe less than a week. Everyone just kind of like, that's what's going to happen. So I guess that's what's going to happen. And which is, to somebody who grew up in Alberta, I don't get it, because I live in too many places where it's been like the graders go out, they put sand all over the roads, and it's like it's just a slushy, sandy nightmare for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and you just kind of deal with it. That's what you do. But at least nobody's like sliding around and running into stuff. But it's like, yeah, when I started finding out that we put salt on the roads, I'm like, oh, why? Well, to melt the ice. I'm like, oh, just put some sand down. I'm like, yeah, but then we got to clean the sand up later. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
It's what I mean, I guess it is one of those things where it's like, cost benefit analysis, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if it's only going to be a week, maybe it's not worth having snowplows around all year.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's probably enough Albertans who live out in Victoria now anyway that they're probably more used to driving on icy roads. So you can tell the Albertans usually who live out here because they all have big trucks. And they won't get rid of them.
And they all talk about how nobody around here knows how to drive in the snow.
Yeah, which is funny given the fact that they drive on big empty trucks that they're like, I got a 4x4, I'm fine. I'm like, sure you are. You're going to do great. I drove my dad's truck one time. He had a V10 Dodge Ram Cowboy Cadillac. It was a 1-ton dually. It was a fairly tricked out. He had to buy it because the regulations in Alberta changed. That was like you had to have a certain class of truck to tow your fifth wheel, and he had a truck that could do it just fine. It was a half-ton, and he's like, I like my half-ton, I want to keep it. And they're like, we're changing the rules. You can't tow that size of fifth wheel with that. You have to get a much larger truck. And he was like, oh. So he sold his truck and bought this really big truck. And I was like, that's a lot. And he's like, I'm not a fan, but I have it now, so that's what I'm driving. Big V10 engine. And I'm like, it wasn't a V8, it was a V10. And anyway, he let me drive it in winter one time because I needed a vehicle to go do something with my friends with. And we tried to drive up a road that was about a 30-degree, very short road, but it's a 30-degree hill. And it was snowy and icy, and I should just not have bothered. I should have just like, we're not going to go that way. We're going to go the long way around because, and I had it in 2 because I'm like, I don't know how to throw this thing into 4. And I should have learned the vehicle better because we basically sat on there spinning our wheels, and over the course of about what would have been about a 10-second climb, we were on the hill for about 3 minutes, inching our way, spinning the wheels slowly up the side of this hill just to get to get to the crest of it to go do something else. I'm like, I should never have done this hill. That was a dumb idea.
I've returned. Why are we initial D hill climbing?
Oh, it's a thing I did in my youth.
Did you heel toe?
No, I did not. I was climbing a hill as opposed to it was a straight hill. It was not a
because I mean there's a point where, and I feel like this comes up in like Top Gear and stuff at various times when they do stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point, there's like sometime, like a big heavy truck will have, more traction because it's digging into the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it needs more power and it's harder for, whereas a nice light car, it's not so good sometimes, but there's some sort of like range where the lightness is actually better than the heaviness.
Yeah.
And depending on the power and the tires and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and the fact that all of the weight of a truck is over its front end, unless you have something in the back. And when you have an empty bed in your truck, and your rear wheels are what's spinning, you have no weight in the back. You have all your weight on the front of the vehicle.
Right. I guess depending on whether, how your 4-wheel drive or whatever too.
Yeah. So it's just like, that was not a good thing to be in. And it's why also in like rally racing, if you look at all the cars that go rally racing, they all have incredibly thin profile, like not profile, I guess, but they all have incredibly thin patch tires. And I didn't understand why. And then I found out, it's because if the tires are thin, they can cut through the snow better, even though they're making less of a patch on the ground. They can actually get through the snow a lot easier, and they can actually touch real like gravel or dirt or whatever to get some traction. I was like, that's wild. Didn't know that was the reason.
More pounds per square inch.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
It's like high heels for cars.
Everyone in chat yells at me to not bring my kinks into Zeta, and you just said high heels for cars, and I think that deserves some punishment as well.
But the thing is, it wasn't until you made it weird.
We've all seen the Cars movies, right?
Yeah, those cars can get it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what I was referring to, I guess.
When I was in when I was in high school in physics class, my teacher used the scene from there's a John Candy movie called Armed and Dangerous.
Oh yeah,
with John Candy and Eugene Levy, I think.
Fair.
It's a fun movie, but there's a scene where he's sneaking out of a place wearing a dress and heels, and he's saying, notice in this scene they always have him on concrete walking through stuff. And he was like, that's because he was physics teacher illustrating the like force per area.
Oh yeah.
Be like, because if they had him on like a wooden floor, the heels would probably be like denting the floor.
Yeah.
That teacher also in part of the sort of same thing did he had like a bed of nails thing. So he's like, look, you can you can lie on this bed of nails.
I've done that.
And then he stood on the bed of nails, and then he stood on one foot on the bed of nails, and then he hopped up and down on the bed of nails on one foot because he had a false leg.
Oh, I'm falling to pieces here, and Paul's just roping me along. I have pictures of my family. We went to the Phoenix Science Museum or Science Center, whatever you want to call it.
I like Science Museum.
Yeah, the history of science. We don't believe in this anymore, but remember when we did? And so they were saying to us, hey, what do you want to do now that you're visiting us down in Arizona? I'm like, I want to have something to do. My parents like, do you want to go to like Lake whatever? And
I love Lake whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember what the lake was. It's like Lake Indian Name. You want to go to Lake Indian Name and you want to like hang out and
Lake whatever.
Yeah, and go down the maybe go to the mines and go look at the mine shaft stuff, or go to like Copper Creek or whatever it's called. And so I'm like, okay, no, because all of this sounds like the kind of stuff that I had to do when I was like 10 years old, when I didn't have a choice of what I got to do, that we all did these excursions, and sometimes they were fun and sometimes they weren't. And that just really gave me the kind of like, I never really know what these things are going to be like. And so my parents like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, what's something that I would want to do that I would never expect my parents would want to do at all? That is also a family activity. And I was like, oh, go to the IMAX. Wait, just go to the Science Center. Can we go to the Science Center? And Heather just looks at me like, yeah, okay. Yeah. And
Science Center's great.
And my parents are like, why do you want to do that? And they had that in their head that like, this is the thing that only children would enjoy, right? And I'm like, no, these can be really fun. And if it's a really good one and it's Phoenix, right? They got to have some money.
Oh yeah.
And they do. They had great exhibits. They had stuff where it's like, here, you can lay on a bed of nails if you want to. We'll show you how physics works. You can, here's how you climb a rope like Batman. Like from the 1960s. Yeah.
Oh, you mean on the wall?
Yeah, it's like, here's how that would actually work if you tried to climb a wall like Batman. And because the fact is, like, try climbing this wall. Like, here's a rope. We've anchored it. Hold on to the wall. Try walking up the wall. See how far you get. It's kind of a challenge in a way. It's like they're little, So I have a picture, I think, of my dad hanging off this wall at 45 degrees, unable to step any further up the wall. Because it's like, yeah, you can't do it. At a certain point, it's like, no, there's a point. And I have a picture of him on the bed of nails as well. And I think my parents have a picture of me doing the same thing.
I remember seeing like some infomercial or something for like the aberizer, some sort of ab flex thing. And in order to demonstrate how strong this guy's abs were from using this device, he did the thing where he laid on a bed and had like a concrete block on his abs and had somebody smash it.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I was like, I saw like some people, so like the geeks at the science center do that exact same thing. Like that's not that impressive. Like
No.
it's a cool trick, but it doesn't involve anything to do with your abs.
Next, you're going to show me exactly how many guys you can knock over without touching them.
The Abnihilator. Abdominate. Yeah, there was a period of time when like all of I guess there's like trends in the sort of infomercial fitness era, and there's for a while there it was all like things that really target your abs. Everyone was like, abs are the thing right now.
Oh, okay. I thought that the cycle would have been like things that wiggle you, things that shock you, things that make you hot or cold.
Right.
I mean, yeah, probably that too. That like everybody like sees what other people are doing and is like, yes, that, but